Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I have a 20-minute full-body tone Pilates class for you today, and it's the last week of my Summer Prep series Part 2. Next week, we'll dive into Summer Prep Part 3, Sculpt. So if you'd like to join, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All you need for this video is yourself and a mat, so whenever you're ready, let's begin. We'll start today sitting on our heels in the center of the mat. Reach up with your right arm and over to the left, breathing and extending through the spine before we inhale to switch over to the right, stretching out the left side body. We'll inhale, come through center, and take that one more time, really pressing into the mat and even lifting the hips. And then we'll switch over to the left. This time, let's inhale to take our arms up and over to the right and extend the left leg long, really stretching through the full left side of the body before we switch, leaning towards the left and extending right side body. Then gently lower the hips back on top of the heels, and let's make our way into tabletop, again in the center of our mat. With the knees just below the hips and the wrists just below the shoulders, we'll take a couple cat-cows, letting the belly fall to look up at the sky, and then curling in to look down between the knees. We'll inhale as we look up, and exhale as we draw the navel to the spine. Now lengthen out the spine by drawing the belly into the core. Extend opposite arm and leg long, right leg and left arm, and we'll exhale to lift into a bird dog. Inhale, tap down to the mat, and exhale, lift up. Think about drawing the navel up to the ceiling along with the arm and the leg to make sure that there's no swaying in the low back. Let's do a couple more just like this. And then hold arm and leg lifted. We'll finish by pulsing the heel and the thumb up and up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, swim the arm back by pulling the elbow first and then extending the fingertips towards the back. Circle the arm forward, lower down on an inhale, and exhale, lift back up into one straight line from the fingers to the toes. You'll want to focus your eyes at one point on the mat to make sure that we can keep our balance as we swim our arm back and circle it forward. We just have 3 more like this. Hold the arm and leg lifted on this last one and take the hand behind the head. On your exhale, hollow out through the belly by pulling the navel in towards the spine and tapping elbow to knee. Inhale, extend arm and leg long, creating one straight line from the crown of the head through the toes. This one takes a lot of stability and balance to maintain your position throughout the entire exercise, so we'll just do 5 more like this. Be sure that you're moving really slowly through this one and not arching through the low back as you extend the leg and elbow wide, but that your back stays as stable and flat as you can keep it. Great job, everyone. Extend the arm long and then place it down on the mat. Let's move straight to the other side. Pull the navel back to secure the torso once more, and then extend left leg and right arm this time, exhaling to lift everything up to the ceiling, including your navel, and inhaling to slowly tap down to the mat. I want you to really try to keep both hips level with each other and parallel to the lines of the mat by making sure that your extended leg's knee is pointed straight down. Hold everything lifted on this last one, and we'll pulse up and up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold lifted still. We'll swim the arm back and circle forward just like we did on the first side, and then tap down to the mat and exhale to lift. Remember that each time you draw the elbow back, we're trying to slide the shoulder blade far away from the ear as we do it. Then when we circle the arm forward, we want to keep that shoulder pressed far down away from the ear. Let's do 1 more just like this, and then we'll level it up. Take the hand behind the head now and exhale to hollow through the belly again, drawing elbow to knee before we extend, making a straight line from the crown of our head to our toes. Really try to lift up through the belly as you draw elbow to knee, and try not to arch your back as you extend long. We just have 4 more of these, and then we'll move on to our core section of class. Don't forget to keep breathing, exhaling as you draw the elbow to the knee, and inhaling as you take the leg out. Great job, everyone. Extend the arm long and lower it down to the mat. cross our ankles behind us, and then come down onto our glutes, scooting to the center of the mat, and then rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae onto our backs. Imprint the spine by drawing the navel in and trying to squash a bug underneath your low back, then interlace the fingers and rest the head in the palms of the hands before stacking the knees on top of the hips. Exhale to tap the toes down to the mat and inhale to lift the knees up, drawing the hips into a reverse crunch. Try to move slowly and controlled throughout the exercise, but especially as you roll down from the reverse crunch, imagining vertebrae by vertebrae being placed back down on the mat. Let's do 4 more just like this. After this last one, hold the knees on top of the hips. Extend the right leg long and hover about a foot above the mat, and then draw the toes straight up to the sky before flexing and lowering the leg to a foot above the mat. Inhale to lower the leg down and exhale to draw straight up. Keep going just like this. We'll do 2 more. Bend the knee from here, and let's resume those toe taps to reverse crunch, exhaling to tap the toes and inhaling to roll the hips up to reverse crunch. Keep going like this, syncing the movement with your breath to exhale and inhale, rolling up, and keeping the low spine flat and imprinted down on the mat by drawing the navel in and trying to squash that bug underneath your low spine. We'll just do 2 more like this. Extend the left leg to hover now, and exhale as you draw the toe to point straight up at the sky. Inhale as you flex the foot and lower to about a foot above the mat. Remember to draw the navel back with each exhale through the mouth, and then inhale through the nose to extend the leg long. This will help make sure that your transverse abdominis is what's working to get your leg up and down. Beautiful job. Bend the left knee and then rest the feet down on the mat. From here, we'll practice a single leg roll up to teaser, so hover the right leg, stretched long on the mat, and reach the arms overhead. Inhale to initiate the roll up, and then exhale, reach the arms overhead towards the toes before inhaling to slow and controlled roll back down to the mat, and exhale, sweep the arms overhead. Try not to rock too much through the supporting knee, the left leg, as you roll up and back down, and really try to make the movement come from the torso, so pull the navel in, curve through the spine, and reach up. Inhale, roll back down. We'll do 3 more roll-ups just like this. On this last one, hold the leg lifted and reach for the toes to pulse up and up for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll back down slow and controlled. And let's switch onto the other side, extending left leg long and hover about a foot above the mat before we inhale to initiate the roll up. Exhale, reach for the toes at the top. Inhale, roll back down, and exhale, sweep the arms overhead. Remember to move slow and controlled so that we can maintain stability in our supporting right leg. We just have 3 left. And on this last one, inhale to roll up, exhale to hold at the top, and we'll pulse up and up, reaching for our ankle for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll back down to the mat, reach the arms overhead, and draw the left knee in. Let's take 1 roll up to sit on our glutes, and then walk our hands back below the shoulders. From there, lengthen out through the legs and flex the feet so that the toes point straight up at the sky. We'll exhale, tuck the pelvic floor, squeezing the glutes and lifting the chest as we peel into a full reverse plank and release the head behind us. Exhale, roll the hips back down to the mat and return the head forward. Again, we'll lift up and inhale to reach back through the crown of the head before rolling down to the mat. This time, peel up to your full reverse plank, but keep the head forward as we march through the knees, lifting them up and into the belly on an exhale and extending them down to the mat on an inhale. We'll do 8 more just like this, or 4 on each leg, before we lower the hips down and move on to the glute section of class. Really try to keep the hips lifted as high as you can as we do our last 2. And from here, roll the hips back down to the mat. Let's now make our way into tabletop and then down onto our forearms to work the glutes. With the navel pulled back into the spine, let's tuck the right toes and start with a donkey kick up, driving the heel towards the sky before pointing the toe and extending the leg long. Then flex the foot and bend the knee, trying to keep it as high as you can before we lower down and repeat from the beginning. We'll keep going like this 6 more times, so be sure to sync the movement with your breath, exhaling to lift the leg, inhale, extend, exhale, bend the knee, and inhale, lower down. Make sure that you're trying to keep the knee as high as you can as you bend and flex the foot, and that when you drive the donkey kick straight up behind you, your toes are pointing towards the back of the mat. From here, hold the leg lifted in its bent position and pulse the heel up and up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend the leg really high from here before we bend and tap behind the standing leg. And then inhale, extend long, lifting it back up as high as we can. Try not to collapse through the hip as you tuck the knee behind, and really try to maintain a straight spine as you extend the leg long. We just have 2 of these left. And last one. Great job. Rest the leg down on the mat now, and let's tuck the toes to extend to the side in a fire hydrant, keeping lots of space between the right shoulder and the right hip. Inhale, extend the leg long, and then exhale, flex and bend the knee to lower down to tabletop. This exercise really works the glute medius or side glutes, so we'll just do 2 more. On this last one, hold the leg extended and lower it down to the side of the mat. Exhale to lift straight up and inhale to tap it down without arching up through the hip where it closes over the shoulder. So keeping that hip pressed down, we exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Then we'll lift and bend, folding back into tabletop. And then press up onto the palms and take a second here for a quick cat-cow, and then to swing your hips side to side, looking over your shoulder at each heel. Really use this time to breathe deeply and notice the alignment of your spine as it changes when swinging side to side and through your cat-cow. From here, lengthen through the spine and draw in through the navel to secure the torso. Flex the right foot and come down onto your forearms, driving the heel up on an exhale and extending on an inhale before we bend, keeping the knee high and then lowering the knee down. Make sure to keep your toes pointing directly behind you as we lift the foot and extend the leg long, and that our navel stays pulled back into our spine, securing the torso. This is the best way to make sure that the muscles are getting the results of all of this work and we're not sinking too much in the joints of our spine. Let's do 1 more. And then flex and bend the knee. We'll pulse the heel up and up to finish for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend the leg long now, opening the hip before we bend and cross behind the other leg. Inhale to extend, exhale to draw it across. Carry the knee as high as you can while you draw it across to tap behind your right thigh, and then lift it as high as you can before you extend it long to the left. Keep going for 2 more just like this. Beautiful job. Let's close the knee down in tabletop, tuck the left toes, and on our exhale, lift the knee straight to the side for a fire hydrant. Inhale, extend, exhale, flex, and then inhale, lower the knee back down to tabletop. Check in that your chest is still on top of your elbows and your hips right on top of your knees so that we know we're not pressing back over our calves and extending through the shoulders. We'll do 2 more on this side and then level it up. On this last one, hold the leg extended and lower straight down to the side of the mat. Exhale, lift the leg as high as you can and inhale, tap it down, really using your core to help you by drawing the navel in and exhaling through the mouth as you lift. I know these are hard, so we just have one more. Beautiful job. Rest the knee down on the mat. Let's press up to our palms and shift the hips forward to chaturanga onto our belly for our last series of class. Slide the palms slightly forward so that the elbows can press down into the mat, and also hug the elbows in towards your ribs. Step the feet out so that the heels can turn in towards the midline of the body, and then exhale to press through the palms, lifting the chest up, and inhale, lower the chest down to the mat. Gradually take your eye line up to the sky as you open through the chest, pressing up, and then inhale, make sure that the navel is pulled to the spine as you lower. We'll do 3 more just like this. You should feel the muscles in your back just below the shoulder blades start to turn on and burn just a little. Let's do 1 more. And lower the chest down from here. Slide the palms forward so the arms are reaching above the shoulders, and slide the shoulder blades down the spine. On our exhale, we'll cactus the elbows back and lift the heels up, reaching the fingertips for the toes before we close our arms together and our heels squeeze together in the back. Then we'll repeat cactusing the arms and reaching the fingertips back towards our feet before we close arms and legs together. Keep going like this, breathing while you work, exhaling to pull back and inhale to circle the arms forward. And we'll do 2 more. On this last one, hold the arms reaching back for the feet for an extra inhale. Before we exhale, circle the arms forward and lower everything down to the mat. Stack the forearms from here and draw the knees to the outsides of the mat, pressing the soles of the feet together, and rest your head on your forearms. On your exhale, engage the glutes and drive the heels into each other to lift the knees straight up without arching through the low back. Make sure that your knees stay really separated as you lift and lower them, and you should feel a squeeze in the main glutes, but also the lower and side glutes. We just have 2 more of these, and then we can stretch it out and finish up class. This is your last one. Great job. Extend the feet long and then slide the palms underneath the shoulders. Drive down through the knees and let's press back, lifting the hips up to the sky and sliding the arms forward so that we can drop the chest into this puppy pose. Interlace the fingers and let's lift and lower the palms for an extra stretch through the shoulders and triceps. Take a second here to catch your breath. And then let the hips fall back on top of the heels, letting the chest sink into the thighs before we ripple the spine up and then make our way into the center of the mat. Place the feet flat on the mat in front of the hips and the palms just below the shoulders with the fingertips pointing forward. We'll exhale, peel the glutes up to a full bridge, releasing the hip flexors and stretching through the shoulders, as well as releasing all the muscles in the front side of the body. This dynamic stretching does activate the core and the backside body just a bit, but it's so important to stay strong in our flexibility by using movement to stretch just like this. On this next one, hold the hips lifted at the top and pulse up and up, trying to lift the hips even higher to stretch out the hip flexors a little bit more with each pulse. Great job. Let's now march the knees up into the chest to give the hip flexors a little bit of work while we stretch, alternating right and left, right and left. Be sure to take deep breaths through this movement, and we'll just do a few more like this. Remember to keep driving up through the hips for that stretch in the hip flexors as we finish these out. We'll just do 1 more on each leg, and then gently lower the hips down to the mat from here. Let's take a second now to stretch out the glutes. Stack the right ankle on top of the left thigh, and then use your palms to help you reach up through the crown of the head, sitting up tall, and then interlace the fingers behind the left thigh to increase the stretch even more. Let's start to elongate our breaths here, breathing in slowly through the nose and out the mouth before we gently unwind and start the stretch on the other side, stacking the left ankle across the right thigh, and then sitting up, before we interlace our fingers to lean into the stretch even further. Your bodies did some amazing work in this class, so it's really important to thank them with some light stretches and deep breathing at the end. From here, gently unwind and make your way into crisscross in the center of your mat. Let's breathe in, rolling the shoulders back and interlacing the fingers to press the palms out front before reaching up to the sky and circling down. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm so glad that we could squeeze this workout in this week. Be sure to join my channel by subscribing so that you can see our next video coming up a little bit later this week. It will be a 6-pack in 7 days real burner, so it's not one you want to miss. Again, thank you so much for watching.